Hey everybody, before you continue watching the video, make sure you give the channel a like and subscribe. Go and follow us on Instagram. Go and check out all the different social media scenarios. Make sure if you're enjoying the content, go there, like, subscribe, follow, so we can keep putting stuff out. If you've got any questions, leave a comment. All right, make a comment on either of our pages and we'll answer them as soon as we can. Both of your, son and daughter have both trained here at Gaha. They've also trained at a different Gaha as well. Both of them have competed and stuff like that before as well. Yeah. And they trained for a fairly long period of time. Yeah. One thing I do want to kind of bring up is, Eduardo mentioned this before we started as well, is that it's an important skill. All right, what they're learning now to do jiu-jitsu and do all this stuff, but also they're going to learn certain characteristics as an individual, as a person, on how to deal with stress and how to deal, saying, oh man, it's intense training, whatever. And we've had other, we teach the kids phone numbers and stuff, and we always explain you need to learn these things, because we've had kids here, same thing, they've gotten lost at a rugby game, they've gotten lost in the supermarket, and they start crying, they don't know what to do, and what's that? All right, wait a second. I know, because of the jiu-jitsu training, they've memorized, we do a little program where they memorize a mobile number or whatever, and then the police finds them and they're crying, they're like, oh, where's your mom, and they're learning all these skills, and, they tell the police officer the number, they call the mom comes and gets them. But something else that they're learning is how to deal with confrontation and stuff like that. And this is okay to bring up a little bit, so your daughter, has had some type of confrontation, at a shopping center or out in public or whatever when they're on their own. Yeah. And I don't know the full story, and you can go into that a little bit, but do you think that jiu-jitsu gives them the skills to deal with those types of situations right away?
Yeah, totally. I think in that situation, particularly, it was about 6 months ago, and Paula, like you said, been doing jiu-jitsu for a long time. She's 14 now. Yeah. She's been here since she's 6, 7. Yeah. And I think the situation, she was with her cousin, 2 or 3 girls and a boy. Yeah. They follow her, put her in a corner, and then they punch her and run away. Yeah. So the situation, the way she dealt with it, I think was great. She never panicked. She never, I thought she could panic as a 14-year-old girl, because she's a bit naive, being in a shopping center, that situation. I was very worried, and she was very composed, very calm. She was talking about, and that I think come from all the, all the training, their confidence, that
being exposed to someone touching you as well. You know what I mean? It doesn't make a big deal, you know what I mean? You can be reasonable at the time,
because she's been there before,
because she's been in this position. Someone tried to hold the neck, someone tried to in training situation, but it gives you that you already experienced that before,
I think so. And the posture as well, the way you present yourself, and just showing confidence. I think the confidence is the big thing, and I think help her in that situation. I'm glad she didn't when make something bigger from that. Yeah. It could happen. But I believe, truly, with her experience, if something, if the girl grabbed her or something, then she would find out, hold on.
I know what to do.
I know what to do. But because it was just a punch, she was like, whoa. Yeah. I was a bit surprised. People punch in the face. It's life, and it's learning, and it's part of it.
We've also, we've added recently a heap more self-defense stuff and all this type of thing, because you hear a lot of guys that from your time of starting jiu-jitsu, or around that situation, man, that was the main component of the jiu-jitsu stuff. It wasn't so much geared towards sports stuff. You know what I mean?
In my time, I would say that nearly every purple belt would be exposed to some boxing. Yeah, could be a guy doing boxing, you know what I mean, or a guy coming and is gonna punch, you have to put it down.
Some simulated situations.
We used to do a thing, a lot of course knows. We used to do a thing in Rio called taparia. Yeah. It's just
open hands, turn the lights off.
At least maybe every second week. And it was fun. It was a fun part. Everyone take the key off. Everyone in the middle there. It was fun.
Yeah, I know.
Boys, we love it. We used to have teams, like 2 teams, half there, half here, 5. And like street fight sort of thing. Of course, open hands. But we used to go taparia, and I think that's built as well.
Yeah,
100%. Like, as crazy as it sounds, like, man, this is realistic. And the thing is the only way to be prepared for the real thing is to simulate the real thing.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And it's difficult for you to build the skills of how to protect yourself, and there's multiple guys trying to hit you and all this stuff unless you're actually doing that.
But even no gear was close guard. A guy can hit your head, open hand, and how are you going to get good at, trapping an arm and put a triangle and understand that you have to make it happen when you get a submission. You have to protect your head. Like, this is what going to come from practice. That's what I'm saying.
A few years ago here, I'm not sure if you remember that here. A few years ago, someone was talking about punching thing, and Eduardo said, I just can't believe you can't punch. And then 1 or 2 weeks after that, we in a no-gi class, Eduardo was doing warm-up, everyone with gloves, remember? Remember we used to do?
I've done it like that for sure. Yeah.
We spent like a month, everyone warm up with gloves for a little bit, and I think just because Eduardo was thinking like, how can you be a blue belt and you can't punch? And he was like, I get it.
And block.
Yeah, and then you put us to do a bit of a...
Yeah, and we do that with the kids a lot too. Like there's segments we do.
Use some pads and stuff like that.
They have to protect. They have to know the time to come in. It's crucial. The thing with a lot of look, parents are busy, and they most of the time super busy because they have to provide. Yeah, and life is busy, hectic, and all that. And the teenagers will be, no matter how. Your daughter is like the most awesome, intelligent, come from a good school, have good friends. It doesn't matter. They will be exposed to certain form of aggression, against them. Don't matter how nice they are. Sometimes, which happened to you, luckily, she haven't felt, bad, so bad about it. And I think she spoke with you and her mom as well, which is great. But a lot of times they won't speak with the parents, and they won't know what to do, and that will affect them a lot more, right? So it's super crucial to have this simulation, super important to make them confident. It happened to me before, like I never spoke to, there are a lot of things that I haven't brought it up with my parents. I had a great relationship, I came from a private school. Man, there was times that I had a knife in my bag. You know what I mean? Like, not many people knew that, but I had a knife in my... I didn't even know. I was thinking about that today, and I didn't even know why I had. But I was just like, if it's one-on-one, I can do it. I was good at jiu-jitsu at the time. I said, man, one-on-one, I can do it. But how about if they come like 3 or 4? You know what I mean?
Janeiro, by 14
it's different there, right? But I couldn't tell my parents. Like, there wasn't that openness. Like, that would be so crazy for my parents to kind of understand that situation. You know what I mean?
By 14 years old in Rio, South Zone Rio, private school as well, it's a bit, you're a bit target.
Yeah.
Even
but I'll tell you what, Fabio, that can happen here. That is exactly the same. And what I think that parents don't understand is that how important it is to build that confidence. A lot of parents don't understand the biggest, how useful jiu-jitsu can be in their kid's life. You know what I mean? Building that confidence and building that attitude towards a problem. Like how important that is for their lives is one of the biggest investments they can do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But a lot of parents are not able to grasp that,
Because here, I noticed, because my wife is, as you guys know, she's from Brisbane. And I talked to her a lot about our kids. And she said, oh, but I didn't do that when I was a kid. And I talked to her, I said, you're a kid in Brisbane in the 90s. Brisbane in the 90s is totally different than Brisbane today. It changed so fast. I live here for about almost 15 years, and I'm noticing the difference. It's changed so much. You see kids, my daughter's in high school. You see kids in high school today, it's just full on. So some parents still have here in Brisbane their old school conception that Brisbane is still that, very relaxing.
Man, this is a very common misconception that people have. They think that their experience is what reality is, and
for everyone, all the time,
for everyone, and for everything. And it's like, man, most of it, this is I have these types of conversations with people all the time about all sorts of different subjects. Like, the thing that you experienced is your appreciation of reality. But that doesn't mean that's what the reality is. You know, there's people in these countries that are starving and having this outcome. There's people in this situation. And the thing is like, the reality is what it is, right? In this country, things like this. In this country, things like that. In this situation, things are like this. In this job, things like that. But what people always draw from is their experience. Man, experience is subjective, dude.
Because the environment can change and everything can change around it.
All sorts of things are different. The thing is like, you have to look at the big picture most of the time. And most people never step back far enough to look at the big picture. They only look at their own perspective. And your own perspective doesn't cover the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? So whether that's, you know, understanding how to run a gym and jiu-jitsu, you know how many people talk with you and be like, oh man, you got the best life ever. You come here and you hang out and you do this and you got a coffee in the morning. You're in thongs and blah. But they don't see you cleaning the mat. They don't see you organising all the payments. They don't see all the negative parts. Their perspective or their image or their picture of what's happening is only what they see. They don't see everything else in behind closed doors. Same thing with somebody that's an athlete like me. Oh man, you got the best life. You're training all the time. You're doing this. Blah, blah. But they don't see the...
You got a picture on the podium.
Yeah, on the podium.
Wow, and everyone's like, you're giving many likes, I know.
Exactly, but they don't see the hours of training. They don't see
the injuries, man.
All the injuries and coming back from it and all the stuff and all the failures and everything. You know what I mean? Like, this is a very common thing that people get caught up in, particularly with like social media and stuff like that, man. You know what I mean? Like, if you look on the internet, and this is one of the biggest problems for people now, like what's one of the biggest shifts or change from when you guys were growing up is, man, people are living through the internet now more than like in their normal life. And man, this is, the world's changed. The problems that come up now are different. You know what I mean? Like before, you guys, you know, you'd carry a knife or whatever, or you'd have to deal with certain guys in the street. But once you went home, you were safe. Now people deal with like this technological bully or technological. But I mean, they can never shut it off.
You're not safe in home anymore.
Yeah, you're not safe at home. You can be sitting next to your parents, you're still not safe because someone's going on there and attacking your personality or attacking you, and people have to learn different skills now to deal with all these new problems. And the thing is because they're so new, they don't know the best way to deal with it.
Yeah.
And that's also one of the reasons that I think doing martial arts and doing all these things are so important, because it's such a powerful way of, you know, personal expression in a super safe, controlled environment that allows you to express yourself and allows you to build up this confidence and all this stuff and this thick skin, because
and resilience.
And the thing is, to do with the resilience thing is, man, you're going to lose here and you're going to lose here and you're going to lose here and you're going to lose here. And we talked with Brendan the last podcast about how you have to learn to deal with failure. You have to learn to deal with not achieving the things you want to achieve.
Only resilience will give you that.
And this is a representation of life in a small, controlled situation where, man, you're going to have to overcome these problems and you're going to have to figure out how to overcome them. And that helps you overcome and deal with this invisible enemy that's around all the time now as a 12, 13-year-old kid.
Do you know...
Thanks for watching the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you give it a like, subscribe, and a follow. Check out all our different social media platforms. There's heaps of content coming out. There's different snippets and content on different platforms. So make sure you're on everything. And again, if it helped you out, recommend to somebody else, and hopefully it'll help them out too.